Hey everyone, Andrew and Adam here with It Takes Two Takes. We recap day one of Comic Con. Here we are to talk about not just day two, but day three. Why didn't we do day by day? I'm going to give you an easy reason for that one. It's simple, really. Um, they couldn't really have Comic Con this year, so they did it virtually. If you're worried you missed out on something, you didn't because not a lot happened, in my opinion. And not to discredit the comic news and really the general merchandise that was being sold by all the various artists out there that really honestly we should be supporting. I don't mean to discredit that, but I will say from a Hollywood, from a film and television standpoint, not a lot was announced this year. Maybe understandably so. It was a virtual event. But at the same time, you literally had all eyes on you because not a lot's going on. One man's opinion, at least. Um, Adam, we talked a lot about day one. There were some notable updates, but aside from the fact that Henry Cavill's wearing a black suit as Superman, do we have much to say really for the last 48 hours of Comic Con from a film and television standpoint?
Not compared to I think previous years. I think for a variety of reasons, which we'll get into a little bit later, I think there is several factors that probably played into why we didn't see much, including COVID. But I think yeah, it was definitely a much more low key as far as news and entertainment news over the last 2 days. I feel like they kind of prematured on the first day, and we got anything that was really noteworthy on day one.
Speaking of noteworthy, it seems like one of the bigger headlines, let's just say that at least if it's not, it's going to become more viral than really what has led it to be up to this point. And that is the Snyder cut of Justice League. Why? I mean, we're sitting here salivating over scraps at this point. Is that where we are with the COVID impact? I mean, I don't understand. What are your thoughts on this at this point?
Personally, I'm not overly enthused about the quality for a couple of reasons. First, it sounds like it's going to be way longer than it would have ever been had it been an actual theatrical release, because I don't think Warner Brothers would have let him air as much as what he's planning to do on HBO. Secondly, I didn't like Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, and so I'm having a hard time why I should be excited about his cut. Didn't like Man of Steel, and I didn't like Batman v Superman. I didn't like the direction he was going with things, and I don't, to a certain extent, I don't know that that's going to change a whole lot in this one. You know,
It feels like a big stunt, in my opinion. It feels like not only if there's anything I appreciate about it, it's kind of almost the social experiment on the fact that social media kind of pushed and made this happen. Beyond that, like I would like watching a documentary on how this actually got to this point more than I would the actual director's cut
and
of
I
whatever
get
Snyder
I get where
put out.
I get where he's coming from, right? He put a lot of
Sure.
work into this, due to a family tragedy. After he finished filming, and then stepped back because his family needed to heal after a family tragedy. So I understand when ultimately to see and to find out that the work that you thought they were just bringing in someone to recut to cut your film that you did, to find out that the studio was then going to have a bunch of rewrites done and reshoots, and your entire vision that you
Right.
had for the movie has been distorted and warped, and to a certain
Sure.
extent your name is still tied to that bad movie. I understand where he's coming from, and I think to a certain
His name
extent
is tied to a lot of bad movies, but I know what you're saying.
it
It's not
really
his
shouldn't
bad
be.
movie.
Right. So I understand his motivation. I think a little bit he showed some stuff to a few select cast members who started tweeting it and everything, and that started the momentum of the people who did like the the first two movies he did now saying, well, we want to see your cut.
That's the big news, right? We have black suit, symbol of rebirth for Superman. Everybody gets excited, but that's like that does. I think that's my point. That's
And I didn't even like the black suit in the 10-second clip they showed.
sure.
The black suit that Superman donned in the comic books and even the animated adaptations of this had no cape. It wasn't we just took the Superman suit and painted it black, but it was one of those things where it was not like the traditional Superman look.
I guess really what I want to bring back is the idea that you know, is terms of things that are going to get the attention in what gets publicized and talked about over the last Friday, Saturday. Call it what you want, but I'm just going to say, unfortunately, I feel like this is the thing that's going to um, create sort of the clickbait of the internet, and it's this, tease. When in reality, this could have been done at any point in time.
I mean, a couple of other things we had. They showed another brief clip for the new Netflix animated, CGI animated Transformers War of Cybertron trilogy for the
Hmm.
first film, Siege. Um, I've seen the trailers for this leading up to this and everything like that. I'm a huge Transformers fan, and it looks like they've got a lot of the classic characters in it and that somewhat resemble their classic designs. I'm still not sure how I feel about this. It might be something I check out. It might be something I wait to see kind of um, what the reaction is, and if it's good, then maybe I'll check it out. If it's bad, then I'm not going to waste my time because there's so much Transformer stuff that has been done badly over the years that I have a hard time getting excited for anything new Transformers.
My
But
6-year-old loves Rescue Bots, and to me, Rescue Bots is more quality than anything Michael Bay did with the Transformers franchise. Just saying. So
the problem with all the live action stuff, just to this is my opinion. This is where the war on Cybertron will be different, which is why I'm almost a little bit more hopeful on it. Is that the live action has always decided that you need to follow a human character, um, and everything needs to be seen through the eyes of a human character of
right.
some sort. Whereas if you go back and you look at the original Transformers cartoon, yeah, there were humans they worked with, but you were almost never following the humans. You were always
Yeah.
following just the Transformers. The humans
Yeah.
were the ones that were kind of more, I won't call them aliens, but, they were the ones that, oh, look, they interacted with some different humans this week. Another thing they did was they showed a first look at Rick and Morty season 5, which I've never watched any of, but they've also announced that the writers are already working on season 6. And Walking Dead fans, they showed a extended opening for the season 10 finale, which
Yeah.
apparently Walking Dead fans were really upset that the finale was delayed. So they're really so some of the Walking Dead fans are excited for that. I've heard about it
They
from a
need to
couple.
be Walking Dead fans need to be upset with a lot of things about Walking Dead, the least of which is the season 10 finale. I'll just quickly address this, and Barrett, I feel like a lot of what we're talking about from the last 2 days is things that we could almost care less about. And from Zack Snyder to all the way up through. And by the way, um, I love Rick and Morty, so it's not like we're just both hating on everything here. So I'm on the other end of that. But the Walking Dead is someone that has read the comics, absolutely adored the comics for a number of reasons. Really enjoyed the first season, detested the second season, warmed up to anything after that, and then absolutely plummeted around season 5, season 6. I've stopped caring about The Walking Dead. I probably will begrudgingly watch the rest of The Walking Dead, but I want it to be in an absolute binge state so I can just finish it and just put myself out of misery with the series. So there's that. So I wish I had something to say about it. I'm not going to watch the at this point. Maybe I should, because who cares anymore? But I should have. I wish I could address something about it, because had this been, I don't know, 4 years ago, I could probably sit here and tell you all about The Walking Dead. But
And
here
and
we are.
let's face it, the last couple of days have not been overwhelmingly great as far as Comic-Con news. And there's a couple of
Yeah.
reasons. I think one of which is some of the properties that we might expect to see at Comic-Con. I think if we were going to hear any news,
Right.
since they're now owned by Disney, I think when you're talking about Star Wars and Marvel, with D23, I don't know, since D23 is normally like the month after Comic Con. I feel like we're gonna get Comic Con in the future will get scraps from those properties, and most of that will be announced at D23 when it because they'll want to drive more to D23.
But I was looking at, like, in a way to sort of wrap this up. I was looking at some of the notable announcements from a film and television standpoint from 2019, right,
Okay.
where things were much different. And here, I want to observe something very quickly and kind of list this out because I want to tell you my take on this. Some notable trailers, many of which were absolute 100% premieres. Picard, Top Gun Maverick, HBO's The Watchmen, which ended up being fantastic, of course. First look at The Witcher. At that time, not much had been known or seen regarding The Witcher. Carnival Row, which ended up ultimately airing on Amazon in August of that year, and It Chapter 2. And then on top of all that, there were other things that weren't just trailer related. It was Marvel revealing Phase 4. I mean, I get it. It's a little bit different story when it comes to a virtual convention. But the observation I want to throw out there is the fact that everything I listed there, with the exception of It Chapter 2 and Top Gun Maverick, everything else was on a streaming platform. Everything else had been filmed pretty much well before they were able to deliver any sort of trailer or first look at. Yeah, we had some stuff this year. We highlighted some of those things.
And I don't know why we don't have more from. I think there was a wasted opportunity. Also, I think there were shows that are finished that will be coming out.
Cobra Kai season 3.
Cobra Kai season 3, Warriors season 2. I would have loved to have seen some sort of announcement or update or something teasing season 2 of Carnival Row. You know,
Yeah.
I think there's any number of things, even from a streaming content standpoint, that they could have highlighted at Comic-Con and didn't. Now, I don't know if some of that's because they're still not sure when some of it's going to be released, but you can still tease it.
And I think to your point, really, if we were to wrap this up regarding Comic-Con in general, I'm curious to know, look, there weren't the heavy hitter announcements. There weren't those just, bombshell type, big reveals this year. But look, in the spirit of Comic-Con and really what it represents and what it means in terms of what it was built upon, I would be interested to know, are these independent artists, are these, creators and people that are trying to really lift and boost their content in terms of comics and artwork in general, did it pay off in terms of, they were trying to really host a level of online shopping and stores and merchandise and ways to be able to interact and ultimately purchase and support those artists. How did that go this year compared to actually being out on the floor? I don't know yet. I don't know that anyone knows yet, but I would be curious to see at least if there was any silver lining to all of this, regardless of the relative absence of the, the big Hollywood presence that we typically associate with Comic-Con. Did it come out okay for them? I hope so. I'm going to keep an eye on it if it ever gets publicized. I'd love to know that there's some sort of victory in all of this. But ultimately, I think we can both agree that in terms of what was announced, it was either stuff we already knew about and got some additional information on, or maybe to some degree we got some premiere, but it wasn't quite what we typically would expect, even considering the fact that it was virtual from Comic-Con in 2020.
Yeah, day one, it seemed like was some fun stuff that came out. We obviously had a fun conversation and recap of that. After that, it went kind of downhill, which you would have thought, anything good would have come out Friday or Saturday. But yeah, I think in normal years that would have been the case, but since it was all virtual, there was no worrying about attendance or anything. So yeah, I think hopefully next year Comic-Con can go back to normal and it will be back to what it was. Thank you for watching. If you are still watching at this point, this very low energy video, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you enjoy the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to know when our next video comes out, hit the notification bell to be notified. Outside of that,
maybe click the link that we're going to pop up for day one. It seems like that's much more intriguing. Both
if you want a better video, definitely watch day one. All right, and
Comic-Con helped us more with that one.
All right. Thank you for joining us, and you have a good one.